Um, I don't have my mic set up, so we're using a crappy webcam mic first. Guys, I will explain why things are kind of nuts this week in a second. But yeah, I completely forgot that my mic wasn't even set up. Dude, my real world and my YouTube world are colliding, and it's not looking too good right now. Let me just plug this in. Please hope that it works, because I do not want to have crappy audio and I don't have to restart this whole stream. Okay, let's get it. That, yeah, okay. I think we have the right mic set up now. What's up, guys? Welcome to Telecast, episode 30. We are 30 episodes in, and we are still running into technical difficulties that are self-inflicted. This needs to come up a little bit more. Man, I don't like starting off a podcast and having things not set up correctly, because then it's like unprofessional, but also like, you know, it'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I got my lumbar support here. That was like a reference to a past episode that we did, the lumbar support. Okay, yeah, what's up, guys? I'm also going to adjust my face cam settings because for some reason I'm very blue. Like, my face is trying to be, like, not blue, but, no, I don't want to go to defaults. How do I, like, configure this? Oh, okay. Filters. I should be able to add, no, I don't want, like, a filter. I just want to properties. Here we go. Color range, capture audio, video format. I don't know, guys. This is interesting. You're really, no, I don't want to go defaults. You guys are really seeing the behind the curtain here. It'll give people a chance to get into the chat. By the way, see, I'm like, listen, I'm in like brain fog mode, because I stopped taking creatine and I think it just made me like lose 20 IQ points or something. I don't really know. I do not feel like I'm on my game, and it's because work has been totally freaking busy, dude. Where even is the live chat? Like, open panel, bro. My whole computer's not working. Like, the past, I've been having lots of computer issues. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to get this to be a little more, give me a little bit warmer of a tone, you know? There should be like a thing in here, like a color settings or something. Set color. No. Filters, properties. It should be in properties. I do not know, like advanced properties, right? Advanced darkness. Well, that's kind of a shame because I am just a little bit. You know what we could do? We could get an orange PNG and set it to be like 5% visible. No, not an orange. Okay, maybe we will use an orange. Maybe we will use an actual orange. Orange? No. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. It's like, what? Okay. First topic of the day was not planned, but why does Google Images absolutely suck now? Everything is, I want to drag this picture, and it's like, no, you want to select these individual orange. Why does this have to be so complicated? Google Images is not this deep. I want the image. That's why I'm going on Google Images, right? Because I want to get the image of the orange. Let's put it in here. Okay, so now there's an orange on top of everything. Do you guys see what I'm saying with this? Oh, geez, it's not even gonna. Oh no, where even is this? Where is this at? What are we doing? Is that the orange? Let's just can I undo this? This is a bad idea. We're gonna put it in here. We're gonna make it bigger. Yes, can we? Make the orange bigger, and then we should be able to set the set the transparency like kind of low. Set color, transform, filters, properties. Like, I should be able to like set transparency, right? I don't know, guys. You're just gonna have to deal with me being blue today. Why are you blue? Yes, I want to remove that, and I'm going to delete this off my desktop. This is the Orange Podcast, I guess. Today we're going to be talking about oranges. No, I actually did have a few topics in mind today. Now that we're finally able to do things, because I'm not trying to mess with the settings here. What's up, guys? Biggest news of
of I guess this week is that summer has finally arrived. Not even summer, but like we're getting warm days, dude. It is 83 degrees outside and sunny. Last night it was warm and I sat on my front porch. It's like technically like it's weird because I don't live in the downstairs, but there's a front porch to my house and the door on the front porch doesn't lead into my neighbor's house. It's just like walled off, I'm pretty sure. So that porch to me, like, yeah, I'll share that porch, man. Like whatever. If he tells me to get off the porch, then I will, but I'm going to enjoy it. And last night it was raining and it was warm and I was editing YouTube. It was great. Any excuse to edit YouTube, man. I've been working my freaking tail off. It has been a rough couple weeks at work, just working. We have, for anybody who's involved in the college philanthropy world, we have a giving day coming up where basically we're blasting all alumni, donors, affiliates, community people, everything, every athletic team, academic departments, colleges, on campus, honors college, business college, media college, blah, blah, blah. I don't even think there's a media college here, but just working. And when you edit YouTube videos all day, you don't feel like coming home and editing more YouTube videos. So unfortunately, the content train has been slowing a little bit. That's fine because the huge steel ball run wave is kind of over. And I think that maybe it'll be a little advantageous for me to catch a second wave later on. Wait until the I don't know which one's the ebb and which one's the flow, but wait until the, community is not tired of JoJo videos anymore. Make my advantageous post. And I don't know, I just have not been in the YouTube thing because this is like, there's 2 times of year when I'm really busy with work. And right now is the number one of the 2 busiest times. They're 6 months apart from each other. That's enough about work, I guess. I mean, I'm just yapping, but it is relevant to the state of the channel and the podcast and everything. Checking out the chat right now. Nobody's in here. We're fine. For some reason, the orange is still up. I don't know. So I didn't plan on making this episode a huge, podcast about tech and AI and things like that, but that is kind of a lot of what I've been thinking about, like in terms of, I've been having a lot of conversations about this stuff lately. But the one that I want to open up with first is the Taco Bell drive-thru has an AI voice that takes your order now. So let's go ahead and see if there's any talk about this online. Taco Bell AI drive-thru. Yeah, see, it's already. Oh, the dude who's asking to get 180,000 waters. All right, well, this is all AI generated. Maybe not all of them, but I don't know. This one, what is this one? The guy asked for he asked for 180,000 or 1 million waters or something like that. I don't know. I just sarcastically remarked things to the Taco Bell AI bot. I was like, "Thank you, Mr. AI person, man." It was actually a female voice, I'm pretty sure, but I was like, "Thank you, AI person." And I don't know. It's efficient and it saves on labor and stuff, but come on, man. Like imagine being a person who never leaves the house. You are terrified of human contact. You're terrified of interacting with people because you don't know what they're going to think about you or what they're going to say about you. And you get all your interactions online and you're just stuck inside. You're cripplingly antisocial. Maybe you even have a disorder or you're severely autistic or something. And it's really hard for you to get out. That social interaction is so important in your day-to-day life. I feel like the milkman and the mailman, and all right, maybe we're getting into some really deep stuff here, but the joke was that the milkman would sleep with your wife and stuff, and maybe the milkman just attracted the type of people who would abuse the power of the milkman. But at the same time, you get out there and you figure out who you are and what you want, I guess, as a housewife whose husband is working all day and it's the 1940s or something. And the milkman comes around and it's that's kind of a sign of something unsustainable. And the more social interactions that people have, the more they learn how societies function and how they should function. You know what I'm saying? So what I think the modern application of this was a really messy analogy, but I hope that it's coming across in the right way. Not saying that if the milkman sleeps with your wife that you should just get over it, or that you should kill the milkman or anything. This is all just talking about society and human relations and things like that. it's really important to have to have human interaction, and it's important for teenagers, especially in the modern day, to be able to talk to customers and ask for orders and stuff. I feel like working in food service for me, or working in customer service. I worked at a grocery store. I worked at an ice cream place. I worked in a mail room where I was like kind of like a secretary, like mail. I did a lot of like mail sorting and stuff. It was a student worker like type of setup. And also my job doing interviews and doing cold calls with donors and things like that. I mean, I never really had to do a cold call because I had things set up over email or whatever, but every once in a while you just got to go out there and be a little uncomfortable. You got to walk up to people and ask them to film stuff. All of this just increases your confidence in your social skills, and I could see, like, there's 1,000,001 benefits to having AI replace some of the mundane parts of life. Taking orders from people, whatever. Maybe that makes things easier and cheaper. However, there are teenagers now that are going to work at Taco Bell, and they're not really going to interact with people, and they're going to, that's kind of like, working isn't just about money. It's about experience, Obviously, you need money to survive, but, you go from job to job to job to job. You learn things each time. You learn about what good management is, what bad management is. Like, I can talk to my friends about bad management because I've worked a lot of jobs, and they're talking about things that I remember hearing from my brother's job, or from, I remember seeing from my own job in the past. Managers would come and go, especially when I was like a teenager working, like some of these smaller places, the managers come and go like crazy. They're always jumping around, doing all kinds of stuff, advancing, getting fired, getting transferred, stuff like that. And yeah, it's just, you can work on a team and stuff, but like the average everyday people, the customers, like, you need to experience a nasty person reaming you out for something stupid, because that just makes you stronger. Like, I've been in uncomfortable positions. I've been scammed before while I've been working. I've been, called out, and people got all in my face because I thought this dude was paying with a counterfeit bill, and I forgot if it was a 50 or 100, or I forgot to check it or something like that. And we had to count the entire register, and they got really pissed at me. And you know what, dude? It was an honest mistake, and I wasn't being nasty, but they were just being nasty for no reason. And all that tells me is that there are people out there who are nasty when they don't need to be. And that when I'm impatient, I think about what it was like for me to be on the other side, I always try to treat people with dignity and respect, because everybody makes mistakes, and everybody, has bad days and everything, but again, no matter how bad my days get, I don't think I've ever gotten to a point where I've completely snapped on somebody and just been an absolute, like, vindictive a-hole. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that these kinds of social interactions are very important, and Taco Bell's a great, it's a great job. What is going on here? It's a great job for young people to have. And, maybe this is going to ruin their social skills. I don't know. I'm also under the impression that people like, how do I want to put this? People in a society, like, for example, people are like, oh, AI is going to, like, ruin people's ability to, like, function and socialize normally. Yes and no. When it comes to the things that make you into a functioning adult, and make you confident and stuff like that, yeah, like, it will take some of that stuff away. But on the other side of it, if you are already if you have a good situation around you already, and you have supportive family, parents, you have a job that's consistent, you have a relationship, you have a pet, I don't know, you are, you're fine. Like, I guess the thing is, and this is like kind of like a theme for 2026, one of like the big themes of my life for 2026 is people have more agency over themselves than you might think. And also, like, people have stories and narratives about themselves and the world and other people and politics. Like, politics is a huge one. And everything's right in their eyes, and the thing is, from that frame of reference, everything is right. But when you step back and, like, see the wider function of everything, it's really hard to explain this, but, like, you can think, two people can think they're 100% right and take a polygraph test, and they're both telling the truth, but have completely opposite opinions or takes on it, on a single opinion. That tells me that the true truth, the true opinion, is that it's way too nuanced to hold a single opinion on really anything. You can say this, that, and the other, but until you actually see things for yourself, until you've experienced both sides, truly experienced both sides, which is almost impossible, which is it pretty much is impossible, which means that you can never form a completely solid, truthful idea on something, and you always need to take everything with a grain of salt. Like, only Sith deal in absolutes, right? I don't know if this makes any sense, but to me, I think it's really important. I think that especially when it comes to like the political stuff. Obviously, there's like objectively bad stuff, like the whole Trump Jesus thing. Let's just pull this up because I was going to talk about this later, but I feel like it's like, the Trump portraying himself as Jesus healing a guy. But that's the thing is like, you have these people going, oh, he's being sacrilegious and this is terrible and this is awful. You have other people who are like, oh my gosh, he's portraying himself as this Messiah and he's brainwashing people into thinking he's great. But like the thing is, it's like, look at the guy. Like, this is a dude who's like, you gotta take the full context, the full story. You can roll your eyes and laugh at it and stuff. But like, I just think it's not worth getting completely upset over because all this does is just give you more information about the kind of guy this is. And then it allows you to formulate, your own opinion on him. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to, like, I don't think this is okay. I think it's like so bad that it's almost funny. It is funny to me. It's hilarious. Like, look at this floating, like, I can't even do this, man. Like, what is going on? It's AI generated Trump Jesus holding the healing spell from Skyrim, surrounded by all of these like very stereotypical American like people, professions, and then you have Marines floating in space. It's like that or military guys. I don't know if they're Marines. It's like that meme of like the South Korean Jesus floating up in the air. What is that? Let's look this up. South Korean Jesus floating super high. Let's see if I can get this. Yes. From the Independent Reporters. I don't have my headphones in, so I don't know if this is going to be like blasting you guys. It says there's no desktop audio coming in. This is hysterical. It is absolutely hysterical. That Trump thinks that he is South Korean Jesus. He's not. Nobody could have this much aura. Look, he's literally glowing. And look at the lights are following him up there. It all depends on intention, I guess. Some people could see this and say that's sacrilegious, but also you've never been to a Korean church before, and you know how those Korean Christians get, man. They're so dedicated that, it's like that episode of The Office where it's like, they bought a used van and it turns out it was like a Korean church van, and then all these Korean Christians start like showing up. I don't know, dude. But that's the thing. And that's another thing is you got to travel. If you've not traveled outside of the country, you are missing out on a lot of perspective. I mean, every time I travel, I get more perspective. I went to I'll just go Ireland. Let's just see Ring of Kerry. Ireland was beautiful country. Like, if I was Thanos, man, and I just got done killing half the world, I'd go live here. Banshees of Inisherin. I watched that movie after I went to Ireland. It was swagalicious. Yeah, I don't know. The people there, though, like, you understand the history and stuff. And a big thing for me was how Ireland carries the history of the British Empire, and how they have a whole museum like dedicated to their independence, and all of these like ex-British Empire countries like Australia, Ireland, United States, some of the islands and stuff. There's a lot of other countries out there. Obviously, there's a lot of countries that were under British occupation, but we got our independence, and it's like something we have in common with these people, and you can talk about it. And it's like, yeah, we have a shared history, even though we're completely different. We have things in common. And you go to the political, the political parties of different nations are completely different than yours. Like to subscribe or ascribe to a single political party in America is basically like saying that you like are that you're not even if because like you're forced to subscribe to a political party here if you want to vote in all elections, which I think is wrong. Because it's like, come on, man, like you're acting like everybody has all these opinions, and especially when the two political parties are, it's all just marketing and PR and celebrity crap. It's just so disgusting that everything is corporatized and like capitalized, you know. And this is not a whole conversation about capitalism because like, or all this stuff, because it's the same thing at the end of the day. My interpretation of capitalism and somebody's interpretation of my parents' interpretation or a Democrats or liberals or conservatives or whatever, a Green Party person's interpretation of capitalism is all different. So for me to like be like, I like this, you know, versus saying like, this is something that, you know, I've gotten ideas about this or blah, blah, blah. Here's the benefits. Here's the drawbacks. Again, AI, totally on the same page, where, you know, it's good and it's bad. And it's like, oh, it's going to end the world. But also, like, it's not going to because it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's killing the environment. Yes, that side of it, because it is destroying the environment in a lot of areas. But at the same time, it's not sustainable financially for anybody or anything, you know? A big part of this is that the cost of RAM, man. RAM went up and everybody thought it was never coming back down. And then it turns out OpenAI can't even make the money to buy the RAM that they had kind of promised to buy from some of these providers, who completely pulled out of the consumer market. They're losing money. They're going, screw you, OpenAI. We're bringing our prices back down and probably trying to enter the consumer market again because we're losing a lot of public faith. Not a lot of the public likes AI, and a lot of the public is mad that we pulled out of the consumer market. You know, everything is reactive. You know, nothing ever bends until it breaks, unless you are looking at it from the future and seeing the breaking points clearly, or if it's something really, 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 really bad. You know, like 2008, everybody's like, you know, you woke up one day and it was like, oh, 2008's here, the recession's here. It's like, you know, it took a while for the financial information to even get distributed, for us to even realize what was going on. And there's a similar thing, supposedly there's a similar thing happening now where we're kind of in the recession already and a lot of people don't realize it, like the frog in the pot of water. But the thing is, it's not that the frog, like if we're the frog in the pot of water, we don't die. We just, you know, the pot just gets too hot, you know, and we get out. Like, you know, frog in the pot of water, again, it's very absolute. It's very, you know, we're all going to die. It's all going to be over. It's all blah, blah, blah. But you're forgetting that other countries rely on us to buy things. Other countries rely on us to provide things, you know? It's like in a survival situation, you can have two people fighting and killing each other. I don't know if this is like what Life of Pi was about, but I guess I'm kind of assuming. You know, when you're in a survival situation, you got to become friends. And that, you know, you got to work together at the very least. If you've ever seen like superhero stuff or anime stuff, totally common thing where somebody was a villain, and then they realize that their villainy is not sustainable in the long run, and they end up having to scale back. And it doesn't necessarily mean they go away. Some people, like, the only time that ever happens is when people like self-destruct. I don't know. I'm getting on a big tangent here. But 24 minutes in, I talked about a lot of this stuff already. I do want to do a quick little rant about Gemini YouTube. Let's see. So again, you look up anything AI and it's all AI generated, dude. So YouTube Studio, for the people who are not into the creative side of YouTube and are more into the viewing side of YouTube, Google Gemini is Google's AI. It's their version of ChatGPT, and it's built into YouTube Studio, which is the creator portal. So I go in there and I can see my revenue, I can see my views, my watch time, my subscribers, my click-through rate, I can see my videos, how well they performed against each other, what's trendy, all this stuff. Well, Google Gemini, I'm asking it, you know, just for fun. I was like, why are all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure videos getting popular? And it's like, well, there's a video that's picking up traction, and it's, you know, it's related, and it's probably, you know, like, just, you know, it's probably blah, 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 blah. And it did this big, long explanation, and it included all these statistics, and it did all this math, and all this jumping through hoops. And you know why my JoJo videos are popular? Because another season of the anime just dropped. That's why. Another episode just dropped. So it's like it's almost like the split brain experiment, where you split your brain in half and you show one side of your brain one thing and the other side the other thing, and your brain comes up with narratives that it fully believes to explain the inconsistencies in reality. So your brain hallucinates just like an AI would. So if you show your brain the color red, and then you show your brain a banana on both sides. So your brain is not communicating inside. It is not communicating back and forth here. It has to completely rely on communication outside of the brain. And if you don't let that happen, if you only let one side see the banana and one side see the red, then your brain has two different ideas floating in there that it has to kind of make sense of. And what the split brain experiment showed is that when you ask people, well, give me a red fruit, they would say, banana. And they're like, what do you mean? A banana is not a red fruit. And they'll be like, yes, it is. Like they'll argue, or they'll make a case, or they'll insist that a banana is a red fruit, simply because the way the brain operates forces it to fill in gaps with things that make sense. And I'm not sure if this is a like reality breaking thing, or if this is just gaslighting yourself. Like for me, as somebody who's like tries to be really aware of like my interpretation of things, and I try to really find the truth and the deeper meaning and find the everything, I'm not quick to make an absolute statement, especially if somebody's telling me otherwise. I've kind of learned, I've tried to learn how to be more accepting of criticism of myself, not in the not getting hurt feelings type of way, but in the I could be wrong. And you don't act rash, you don't act like a jerk, you don't do any of this stuff because you could be wrong. You always could be wrong. There's many, many, many things that you could be wrong about. And this is a whole conversation about, how to treat people and faith and trust and things like that. But, it's just, I wonder if the split brain experiment, if it, let's look up a picture of a brain just to illustrate this. If it really is a social thing or a retroactive thing, or if it's, like, what do you see? I don't see anything because it doesn't see that side. With your left hand, pick up what you saw. And then it says, I saw a baseball. Wait, what did you see? I saw a baseball. So yeah, basically you could be holding on to something that is clearly not a baseball, but because you see it, your brain fills in the gaps and tells I don't know. I'm not explaining this the best way, but the red banana is like a good way to explain it. Banana's a red fruit. Well, obviously it's not a red fruit. And you would ask them before the experiment and they'd be like, bananas aren't red, but you get like sucked into it. And I just think, is that like a loss of control of your mental, or is it like just being argumentative and stubborn? Like, I don't know. Kind of weird. The last thing I want to touch on is the draft. I think this is real. This has kind of been like a fear-mongering thing that they've been doing. Draft, not DraftKings. What draft summary? See, why do you got to fill in my thing, man? I'm going to get mad because why are you filling in my search results? I literally looked up the word draft. I did not want a draft summary of the split brain experiment. Screw you, kill yourself. We're going to have to censor that because I'm going to get demonetized for that, but I don't care. NFL draft, ESPN draft. It's kind of hilarious that if the draft really is that big of a deal, that all the sports stuff is on top. Draft 2026. What is it? 18 to 25? Was that the age range? Like 18 to 25 zeros. No, I don't care. I don't care about any of that. Stop autofilling my stuff. I'm not even what the new automatic military draft means. Well, I am not going to say my opinion on that in case I can get arrested for that. Yeah, it's all fear-mongering, dude. It's so stupid. Like when did we lose track of just being honest and genuine and straightforward about things? Like, I try to be super blunt and honest, Obviously, I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings. I'm not going out of my way to say the truth to hurt people's feelings because that's just, there's a time and place for everything, as Professor Oak would say. But what happened? And I'm just disconnecting from this, and a lot of people are disconnecting from this, so I'm happy about that. But it's just all fear-mongering. Like, the state of the nation could be completely fine, and everybody's going, oh. And then the state of the nation could be absolutely screwed, and people are like, nah, it's fine. Like, there's so much manipulation. You just got to seek truth. seek the truth. Do not seek the treasure. Yeah, I don't know, guys. We're at about a half hour, and let's see. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about most of this stuff. There, I talked about the AI stuff for a little bit, for basically most of the podcast. I don't know, guys. I'll make a thumbnail for this week's and last week's video, telecast episode, and I'm probably going to start posting some clips and stuff here and there. But like I said, I'm just really, really, I'm getting to a point where I am pretty burned out because all I do all day is video stuff. So, yeah. It's a little hard. Like, this to me is easy because I can come in here and talk. I didn't even expect to get a half hour out of today, but I'm glad I did. And I'm glad that you guys stuck around to watch. Nobody in the live chat, but we will, like I said, we will be putting a thumbnail and everything, getting this thing looking good. And if you're watching in the future, howdy. Thanks for tuning in. That's really all I got for you guys. I'll see you next week, or follow the Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I'll probably be posting stuff on there. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you on the next episode. Peace.